Hey, this is Michael Janda. I'm here with Lubos Volkov, and he's in the Czech Republic. I'm in the United States. We're going to talk about how to work as an international designer. At my agency, I've hired international designers to work for my company, and I'll talk about that perspective. And Lubos does outsourced freelance work, working for a lot of companies that are international. So he's on the designer side of that. And so we'll give you two different perspectives on what it's like working with international clients. So Lubos, what are your thoughts on this to kick us off?
First of all, I never actually work in the office. I'm working remotely since I was 18 years old. I dropped out of the college to become a top-notch designer at that age. Actually, I started working with a Silicon Valley-based startup and businesses. The only way to get work from these international clients was by sharing my own work, my own projects. I have been endless nights creating my own projects, my own work, and sharing those on the internet, especially on Dribbble. And thanks to the exposure from Dribbble, I was able to get in front of the eyes of these companies and business owners. And slowly, I have built the relationships and expertise in that field. I was able to gain the trust and work with high-profile and well-known clients. All of that without ever having a .com portfolio. I've been able to achieve all of that with Dribbble and reputation.
That's awesome. And that's, it doesn't have to be unique. And we're going to dig into how you've been able to do that in one of our other questions. Relating to international, working with international clients, how do you overcome the challenges that they face? Because I've been on the agency side of that, looking for international designers to work for me, and there are hurdles that I had to mentally jump over to be able to get myself to do it. And so a couple of those, the time difference is concerning, the not being able to directly manage that person is challenging. I can't give them feedback once every hour on what they're kind of working on at the time. I have to wait until it's finished enough for them to show me. Those kinds of things are challenging, and they're concerning from the agency side in hiring somebody. How have you been able to overcome that and land these kinds of clients and do it effectively?
Great question. It's all about the individual. Remote work and international work is not for everyone. You need to be a very strong individual to deliver the results the companies and business owners are looking for. It's all about the communication. I like to jump on the call as early as possible. First email, second email, and jump on the call. So I can actually guide them over my process, results, and answer all their questions. It's also important to showcase how communicative I am and show my personality and passion. That really helps to overcome that initial barrier between both parties. On day-to-day basis, I have to change my schedule. I go to bed around 4 a.m. so I can be online whenever it is needed. That's something extremely valuable for that person on the other end, and it solves the time zone issue. Usually, if you set up a really good process, you over-communicate everything, you annotate your work, usually there is no need for expensive amount of phone calls. If you over-communicate everything, what you do and what you plan to do, especially at the beginning, you need to be really there for the person on the other end and almost all the time. Obviously, you need to sleep, you need to have life balance. But once you figure out the right process and schedule for a particular project, it can be very beneficial for the both parties.
That's great advice. And in my notes for this question, I had some of those exact items. It was, so just to reiterate and reemphasize what you said, communication is critical. And one of the things that I would recommend is that before you do anything, as soon as you get a lead, the very next step is to get on a video call with them. They have to see that you're a real person, that you've got a smile, that you're easy to communicate. They have to see that you can speak English if you're working with US companies. They have to see that you can communicate in the language well enough to be able to do the work. and then get them on your Slack channel or get them on your Google Hangouts or whatever you use for kind of your day-to-day chat, your Trello or whatever. Get in with them and be there so that they feel like you're part of their team. Even though you're off site, you're part of their team. And that's so important in this. It's communication. That's the biggest worry of anybody hiring internationally. Communication is big worry number one, and then quality and results is big worry number two. And Lubos, you addressed this as well by talking about making sure that you're communicating, you're showing them things, you're giving them iterations, you're telling them what you're doing so that they're not just sitting there wondering, is he even working at all? Is he going to hit this deadline? I haven't heard from him for 3 days. That's when they're losing faith in you fast. So daily check-ins or even twice a day check-ins, just showing them things in iterative process, those kinds of things can go a long way to overcome the challenge that they see of, is he going to be able to execute, or she, and is she going to is she going to be there when I want to communicate with her? Those are two big worries.
It is just like a relationship when you start dating your girlfriend or boyfriend. You want to communicate a lot and learn more about the person on the other end and share almost everything with them. The older the relationship is, the fewer words you actually need to say, since you know almost everything about the person on the other end and you gained their trust. The same applies to business and client relationship. You need to invest a lot of time at the beginning of the relationship, and I almost want to say that you need to then enjoy the outcome of your work and the time you've invested at the beginning.
Yeah, great advice. Working with international clients can be super productive. The United States has a shortage of designers and UX designers and brand identity designers. There is a lot of money being spent on startups and business expansion, and a lot of companies are looking outside of the United States for freelancer help. And so it's worth your time to go for it and try to overcome some of these challenges and try and build some of those relationships. And I only mention the United States because that's my perspective. I know that there are other countries in Europe that have some booming economies right now, and other places in the world, but you can go outside of your country and try to land work, and it's worth your time to do it.
Yes. And it's worth to mention that I work as a lead designer at a company called TopDAO, which bridge the gap between like the top-notch companies and top companies, designers, developers, etc. The company is called TopDAO, and you should Google that. It could be beneficial for quite a few people here looking for international work. It's one of the biggest remote companies, so definitely check it out.
Awesome. What's the domain?
It's toptal.com.
TOPA or TOPTAL.com. Toptal.com. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.